Welcome everybody, I'm Big John, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys the easiest way to mod your Nintendo Switch. In this tutorial I'll be covering the basics and what you need to get started. Quick disclaimer, I'm not reliable for anyone getting banned following this tutorial, or if you mess up a step, you could get banned by doing mods online, or any non-Wi-Fi safe mod in your game, or any type of dumping that is piracy, and I am not liable for any of that. However, that is most likely not going to happen as long as you're not bloating about it online or on the Switch social networks. Alright y'all, so step 1, check on the bottom of your Switch. It should be located right here for a serial number. It should look something like this, and this is the way that you're going to test if your Switch is patched or not to be able to mod. Alright, so the way you can check, I'll have this linked in the description down below, is to go to Is My Switch Patched? And you're going to just click the top link, or the link in the description down below if you guys would rather do that. You set this to the first serial numbers, and you just type the first 6 digits. Hit check, and it should tell you yellow means maybe, red means no, and green means you're good to go. Most likely, if it's yellow, it will be patched, so don't get your hopes up too much if it's yellow. However, you can always go and buy one that is not patched from the store or on eBay. Alright, so what you're going to need to start off with is an RCM clip. You can get these on Amazon. A micro SD card, 32GB or higher. I recommend higher if you're going to be dumping games. And a micro SD USB. You pop the micro SD in. You can get those on Amazon as well. You'll need a USB-C to USB-A cable capable of data transfer. You can get these on Amazon, and I recommend getting quite a long one, maybe a 6-foot one. This is just a demo. Mine is already plugged into my PC. And of course, a Windows PC, laptop, or Mac laptop. But today's tutorial, I'm going to be covering Windows. So now that I have my micro SD inserted into my USB stick, I'm going to go ahead and plug this into the computer and meet you guys there. With that out of the way, let's begin the tutorial. Once you pop in your USB stick with your micro SD in, it should pop up right under this PC. You can go ahead and click it, and it should be empty to start off. So what we're going to do first is make sure that our SD card is formatted to FAT32. How to do this is you right click it, and you go to Format, and if your micro SD is over or under 32GB, it should automatically be defaulted as FAT32. If so, you can go ahead and click it and hit Start. This will say that it will erase all data on the SD card. You should have none, so that shouldn't matter. Hit OK, and it should go ahead and format. Alright, you can close this now once it says Format Complete. Open back up your files, and there it is. You can double check that it worked by going to Properties, and it should say FAT32 right there. Alright, so if your SD card is above 32GB, possibly 64GB, or even 120 or higher, it could be a terabyte, you're going to want to go ahead and go to this website. I'll have it linked down below, called SD Association. You scroll down to the very bottom, hit Accept, and then it'll auto-download this file. Once you get this file, you can go ahead and extract it onto your PC, just like this. And you're going to want to do the English version unless your native language is Japanese. Go ahead and run the exe. And it'll load. Perfect, we're going to hit Next. I accept, Next. It'll tell you where it's going to be set on your files. Just go ahead and hit Next. It should be defaulted to the right section, to the right file path, and go ahead and hit Install. Hit Yes if it asks for any permissions, and go ahead and launch the program when it's finished. Hit Yes again if it asks for another permission. Now you can close out Google and any other files besides your Switch SD. Alright, so now your Switch SD card should be selected as default. If not, go ahead and select it if you have multiple drives plugged into your PC, which is other USBs or even a external hard drive. You can refresh if it's not popping up, and it should pop up. The type should be SDHC, and the capacity should be how much capacity you have. Quick format, and leave everything else the same, just like shown on here. Hit format, and it'll ask you, is it okay that we are deleting everything in there, just like formatting to F32. You go ahead and hit OK, and boom, file system FAT32, and it should be done. It might not still say FAT32. If it says FATEX, that's okay. Alright, but you want to make sure you do that process to make sure that it's registered as FAT32. You can check if this worked as well by going into properties, and it should say something like FAT32 FATEX. That's okay. That's what you want. Alright, now that you have your SD card formatted, we can go ahead and begin the basic setup. Alright, so if you guys want to go ahead and delete the SD card formatter, you can go ahead to control panel at the bottom left here, and click uninstall program in the blue, and scroll down. If you can't find it, go ahead, it's right there for me, but if you can't find it, go ahead and search up at the top SD, hit enter, and there it is. Just double click it, hit yes, and yes on that, and it disappears. I like to do that to save space. Alright, so next step, you want to go ahead and get Atmosphere. I will not be linking this in the description down below because it should be easy to find, the newest version, and it will update every single so often. So if you're watching this video 2 or 3 years later, then when I post it, it should be a different version than what I'm showing. However, just get the one that says pre-release or latest as of the time that you are watching. Now, as of the time that I'm recording, it is Atmosphere 1.10 pre-release. So I'm going to go ahead down here and do assets. And we're just going to get these two right here. Atmosphere version plus HBL homebrew menu and fuzzy.bin. Alright, so let's go ahead and install those. Just like that, they should be right here. Perfect. You can go ahead and click the folder icon to find it if you don't want to open it manually. Now we are going to have our downloads open and our root of our SD card. You want to make sure you extract the Atmosphere file, and you just want to drop all of its contents into the root of your SD card, just like that. And so far, that's all you need to do. Keep the fuzzy.bin here for now. We'll come back to that later. Next thing you guys are going to want to download is Hekate on GitHub. I will not be linking this one as well because the version will change as we go. So let's go ahead and open that up. As of this recording, our latest version is Hekate version 6.4.1, Nix version 1.8.1. Scroll down to the bottom, and you're just going to download the Hekate.zip and the Hekate bin. So I'm going to do that right now. Alright, so now that they're downloaded, we're going to go ahead and extract the folder, just like we did to Atmosphere. And you're only going to drop in the bootloader onto your root of your SD card. So the Hekate.bin file we're going to need for later. So just drop that onto your desktop, just like that. Alright, and then put that somewhere safe for later. Okay, so your SD card should be looking like this so far. Atmosphere, bootloader, switch, and homebrew menu.nro. If you do not have these files, it could be because the newest version doesn't need these to run anymore. But this is what it should look like right now as of this tutorial. Alright, next step that we are going to be doing is taking that fuzzy.bin that I said we will come back to later. We're going to go inside of bootloads, payloads, just like that. And we're going to drop the fuzzy right in there. Alright, so once you have everything in the root of your SD card, the bootload, the payload in, what you're going to want to do is head into the bootloader. And there should be a file here called Hekate.ipl.ini. I'll link that down below as well. So I will put that in the link down below. If you already have one on your SD card or have gotten one somehow, this is the code that you're going to want to put in, and I will also put this in the link in the description. You can pause here and manually type it if you'd like, or you can go in the description and copy it if it's not there. If you guys would like a modding tutorial for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, I will be willing to make one if we get enough comments and you guys are interested in that. Alright, so this part of the video is completely optional, but I highly suggest that you guys check these out. So the first one is going to be called themeser.nrx. Now, you can go to the GitHub page and go ahead and grab the latest version. This is for custom themes on your Nintendo Switch, which I will also explain in another video if you guys would like to see that. You can go ahead and click on the latest version and get the NRO file right here. I'll be showing you where to put it in your SD card as well in this tutorial, but I will not be explaining how to get the themes in this tutorial. As well as the themeser, you're also going to want NX Themes Installer. You can also get this on the GitHub page. The current version is 4.8.3, and just go ahead and download the NRO. Any .nro file that is a software for the Switch is going to be an application in the Homebrew menu. So let's go ahead and install this as well. Now, themeser and NRX is not bannable as long as you don't post it online. Of course, doing it, you can put any theme on and they will not ban you. However, if you use mods that are not Wi-Fi safe, like for Smash Ultimate and Play Online, you will most likely get banned, so just don't go online. You can be connected to an internet connection, but if you play any game online with non-Wi-Fi safe mods using cheats or anything, you will get banned. So what we're going to do now is go into our Switch folder and we're going to open up our downloads. And we're just going to go ahead and drag themeser and NX Themes Installer straight to the Switch folder. Now that that's done, you can also add a folder right here called Themes, all lowercase. And this is where you're going to be putting in folders, just like this. You can name it whatever you want, like Pink Sky. And you'll be getting themes on Google at Themeser. And you can go ahead and hit Switch, Packs, and select any one that your heart desires. Let's just say Purple Skies. And you're just going to extract that. And you're going to put all of these in the folder that you named. You're going to put all of these in the folder that you named in themes, just like that. So now that they are all in there, this is a working theme that you can now equip onto your Switch, which I'll be explaining in another video. Alright, so for the Homebrew App Store, if you would like to get that, it's also completely optional. You're going to want to get the appstore.nro, and to do that, you can search up Homebrew App Store, and it should be the top link for GitHub. The current version of filming this video is Homebrew App Store version 2.3.2, and you just want to get the NRO file and drop it into the Switch file, the Switch folder. So like I said, just drop it straight into your SD card, and you can make sure it doesn't have the one, by the way. I have another one, so that's why it's doing that. And in there it should be just like this one right here, not the one above. It should look just like that. The next time you launch your Switch and hold down R on any software while launching, or even go to the album, you'll see the App Store and you can download Themeser and NX Theme Installer and all that other good applications through there instead of having to do it this way. Once you have all of this set up, do not take your SD card out of your computer, otherwise that might corrupt files. You make sure to always eject the SD card by right-clicking and eject. Now, if you wait and this pops back up and the SD card is still in there, or if you open up your files folder again and it's still there, at the bottom right there's a little arrow with this micro USB icon. You go ahead and right click and eject the USB device, and that will also take it out. So I'm going to be ejecting my SD card through the other method, which is this right here. And boom, just like that, it is gone, and I can safely eject it from my computer. Just make sure your Switch is completely powered off before doing this next step. You can hold the power button and click power options and power off, turn power off. You got to make sure it's completely turned off or this will corrupt your SD card. So go ahead and make sure to reinsert your SD card back into the bottom of your Switch. It should be behind this little stand. Once your Switch is completely off, go ahead and remove the right controller from the screen. just like that. And now this is where the little RCM comes in play. We're going to insert it through the right side of the switch. Make sure it is the right side only. This will not work on the left. Alright, so make sure when sliding it in that it says on at the bottom and off at the top. Slide it all the way to the bottom until it clicks in, just like that. It might not click, but just push it down until it's all the way at the bottom. Now once your RCM is in, you want to go ahead and hold the power and the volume up button at the same time. If your screen shows a Nintendo logo, that means that it didn't work or that your switch is patched. However, if it shows a black screen, you're good to plug it in straight to your USB cable to your PC. Alright, so now that you have your SD card back in your switch and the RCM in and have your switch in RCM mode, you can now download Tegra RCM GUI on GitHub. You go ahead and click on the zip folder. Okay, now once you have the zip file downloaded, go ahead and extract it. And all you will need in this folder is the exe. Keep everything in the folder, but you're gonna just open the exe. Alright, this is what it should look like. You can go ahead and close out your files now and Google. Okay, now for this portion of the video, go into settings and install the driver. You only have to do this one time, so make sure you just get it over with. Alright, now that the driver is installed, what you're gonna do is click on Files, and you're gonna click on the Hekate bin file that I talked to you guys about earlier in the video. It should be on your desktop. So make sure you find the desktop and Hekate.bin. Make sure it's selected. It should be saying stuff in here just like this. Oh, your foozy's found, Hekate. All of that should look like that. I'm going to show you guys this at the same time. You can see the reflection of the screen through the switch screen. So I'm going to plug it in like that. And you see now on my screen that it says RCM OK. Now that it's complete, if you look back on your switch, you'll see that this screen has updated. It should show a little Hekate logo before showing this screen. Now, if you want to access your SD card without taking it out and having to reboot this whole process, go into Tools, USB Tools, and you want to hit SD card. Boom. Now it'll show that, and up on your screen, as long as it's still plugged in with the USB connected to your PC, your files will pop right back up. Always make sure to eject the card before going back to your switch. As you can see, it says it's good to go. Hit close. Then you can go back to the home. And now once at the home page, we can go ahead and hit launch. And you're going to want to hit Atmosphere PKG sysMMC. These other two do not touch. I don't have much experience with them, but as long as you hit this one in the middle, it's going to load straight into the Atmosphere software. And it'll load up just like normal. It should say the Nintendo Switch logo. Yeah, there it is. And oh, by the way, you can take your jig out. Yeah, you can have that out as soon as you see the screen that we were just at. Go ahead, you can put your controller back on the Switch, and then just start it like normal. Now, as you can see, I already have my theme installed. This will not come defaulted, or if you put it in your folder. I will show it, like I said, I will show a separate video on that later. But if you click on your albums, it should bring up your Homebrew menu and all the apps that I told you to get. Just do keep in mind, if you completely power off your Switch after injecting the payload and going through the Atmosphere launcher, it will require you to redo the payload setting with the Tegra RCM just like you did. You'll have to plug it in, put the RCM in, put it in RCM mode, and then you'll be able to go back in. It's not that big of a deal, but I recommend just putting it in sleep mode by just tapping the power button or holding the home button and hitting sleep mode. That way you won't have to do that. So if you got an error trying to load into Atmosphere when you hit launch, come back into here, go to bootload, and you should see this now, and make sure to double click and have the code that I set in the description and right here on screen in that file, and make sure to hit save. Under file, hit save, okay? and then try it again, hit launch, and it should launch you in perfectly fine as long as you have the latest version of Atmosphere and Hekate. Well, I hope this video helped you guys out, and I hope you learned a thing or two about modding, and that everything worked good for you. Make sure to like this video so that everybody else can watch it, and hopefully this was a better and easier tutorial for you to understand. Usually each tutorial always leaves me with questions, so if you guys have any questions, make sure to drop them in the comment section down below, and make sure to comment what other tutorial you guys would like, or if you have any questions, I can be able to help. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one.